Ron Miller Race Car Studio, this is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. We'll get rid of
Yeah.
that. Welcome, race fans.
Yeah. Well, welcome back. Boy,
Yeah, welcome to the new world.
this social distancing is getting to be a real pain in the butt, Scott.
Yeah, I'm doing my best to work around it, and we kind of cobbled this here. I wasn't actually planning on doing any live shows, but coming at you live from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Right there, that guy. He's coming in.
Yeah, and Scott's over
Yeah,
there somewhere. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. Coming at you live from the Hammer Racing studio. As you can see, check out that sweet hood back there. Oh, I locked my dog out. She was barking.
Yeah, well, Henry decided he wants to be part of the show. You're done, kid. You're off the deal.
Yeah, we're coming at you live on Facebook, and we originally weren't going to be doing any live shows. We're going to take a little hiatus, but things have worked out that this is kind of an experiment, I guess you could say. We'll see how this works.
Now, we're throwing the show open to all of our listeners tonight, so we really, really need you to start asking questions, whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk about your favorite racetrack, you want to talk about your favorite driver, just start typing it in, and we'll converse.
Yeah, we'll get to those questions a little bit later.
Yeah, we've got all the racing reports to do.
Oh, yeah, there's shut up. There's a few. There's a little bit in news. But, yeah, if you got a question for us, go ahead and put it in the comments. If you're watching us live, if you're listening to us on iHeartRadio, sit back and enjoy. You're going to hear the questions that were asked during our live broadcast. We're only going to be able to do this live on YouTube, or not YouTube, we're on Facebook. But we'll put this on our YouTube channel and our Twitter as well after we're done. It won't be live. So the only way to catch us live for the time being is going to be on Facebook. So make sure to follow us, like us on there. And like Ron said, if you got a question, anything, you can ask us anything. We got some questions from comments in a post we made earlier. I already got those, so we'll address those questions. But go ahead and leave your questions in the. Yeah,
how about one of our most popular segments, Scott? Are we? Can we do anything for how many tonight?
We could. I have nothing planned, but we'll talk about that.
Well, we can fake it.
Yeah. Before we get to that, we already covered that. Oh, we're asking for your support. See this little scroll thing down here? Wait, this is really difficult. It's down. It actually went off. Now here it comes. It's coming. It's coming over here. Yeah, it's over by Ron. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Here it is. See, look,
it's right over there.
Give him a call, 734-856-7223. He's still open for business, but we're also looking for sponsors. If you want to help us out, paypal.me/hammerdownracing. You don't need the report on that. It's just paypal.me/hammerdownracing. If you can give us $25, we'll put your information in our little crawl here for at least 4 shows. That would be, right now we're using a free trial of this software that allows us to do this. And we will be able to bring in guests. We're not going to have a guest tonight because like I said, this is a kind of an experiment here. But we'll be able to bring in guests as well. We kind of got this idea from the guys over at Sandusky Speedway that use this same software for some of their Facebook Lives. So it could be me, Ron, and somebody else. I think we can have up to like 10 people. I could be wrong, maybe less. But anyways, this thing's going to cost us money to keep it going. So any help would be appreciated. If you can't do $25 here, $1 there, somehow we'll make it happen. Right, Ron?
Absolutely. And Ron Miller Race Cars is probably in for, 50, 75 cents a week, so it's no big deal.
All right, then. Very good. Before we get to the questions, how about we go through a little bit of news? And I'm really curious your opinion on some of the stuff here that's been happening recently. Obviously, the world's messed up. I went and got surgery, and I've been doing the stay-at-home thing since right after our last show, as a matter of fact, the last live show we did. So I kind of got.
Have you made it back to work yet, Scott?
I made it in actually a week ago Wednesday just to pick up some of the camera equipment. Actually, yeah, it's behind me back there. But other than that, I've been working from home. So actually, I think they kicked everybody out today. Everybody's working. All the DJs now have their own home studio equipment. So
really, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're taking this stuff seriously. Pretty crazy stuff. So obviously, they canceled pretty much everything's been canceled. Jobs have been canceled. Sports have been canceled, and of course, racing has been canceled. All levels. There was a few races a couple of weeks ago I talked about in the little video I did last week, where a couple of the Pennsylvania tracks got some races in. I think that was the last bit of racing that was done. So we're not going to talk about everything that's canceled because right now there is no racing. I know Attica is going on a weekly basis of canceling their events. They've canceled tomorrow. I can guarantee you they're going to cancel next week, although they have not officially done that yet, because they're going to comply with the governor's order for the no gatherings of more than, I don't even know what the number is, 10?
I think they're at 10 right now.
Okay. So it'll be a very small crowd for Attica.
And those 10 have to be 6 feet apart.
They got the room there. And I don't know if that would count with cars, because maybe they could have 5 cars and 3 spectators and 2 officials.
Well, cars going 100 miles an hour can't transmit the virus. So I would think the race cars at speed would be exempt.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll have to talk to Mr. DeWine about that to get clarification. But anyways, so something that was kind of interesting this past weekend, and I know we've talked about it here and there about this esports and iRacing deal, and they kind of put together a little exhibition last weekend that aired on Fox Sports 1. Did you watch that at all? I
did, and it was entertaining.
That's kind of what I thought. I mean, I was like, hey, I'm watching a video game, but there's nothing else on. And it was they made it entertaining because they did a lot with, talking to, who was it, Clint Boyer?
Yeah.
In the studio there. He was pretty funny. And
the reset feature is something that we're working on here at Ron Miller Race Cars for real race cars. And we're just hoping that maybe we can bring that to a racetrack near you where you can sit in the pits, hit the reset button, and maybe fix your race car.
There you go. All local racetracks this year are going to have the 2 reset rule, where you just go to the pits, boom, press a button, your car is all good as new. That might cost you some money, though, Ron.
Yeah, but there's going to be a fee involved with that reset button, so it'll work out.
Okay, all right.
Now, Scott, I'm everybody out there would want a reset button. So, right now we're only servicing just a portion of the customers with that reset button deal. If we can make it work, it's going to be huge.
Again, that's Ron Miller Race Cars, 734-856-7223. Order your reset button today.
That's it.
Is it lighted? Does it have a light on it?
We're working on that feature.
Okay. So Denny Hamlin actually gave the fans a show with his victory in Sunday's NASCAR iRacing Pro Invitational Series at the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. Pretty exciting finish there, coming off of that. Made that last lap pass on the outside of Dale Jr. It was pretty cool seeing Dale Jr. racing, even if it was virtually. And those two traded some paint coming off that final corner with Hamlin taking the win. And there were some other lesser known names that got to kind of be out front. Garrett Smithley, Timmy Hill, who dominated the second half of the race.
They got to show their talent, Scott.
Yeah, well, and they were all equally prepared virtual cars because they couldn't mess with the setup. The setups were fixed. So it's kind of like IROC digitally.
Yeah, ish.
So you actually enjoyed that then?
Yeah, I really did. Assuming that the season is going to get shortened and we won't get to see any races probably till June, I hope that Fox Sports 1 does this a few more times.
Well, as a matter of fact, they will. Last weekend, last weekend's broadcast was the largest esports audience for a broadcast, had over 900,000 viewers on FS1. It was also the most watched telecast on FS1 since the pandemic-induced sports world shut down back on March 12th.
I don't know if you caught it, Scott, but it was the highest rated Twitter event at all.
Yeah, it was trending
for anything, or the coronavirus or anything. That iRace topped them all.
Well, they're going to continue to cover the iRacing events this weekend. Fox, actually, I think it's going to be on not just FS1, but Fox, the broadcast network, where available, are going to broadcast the virtual race at Virtual Texas Motor Speedway. That starts at 1 p.m. Sunday. Fox FS1 and on the Fox Sports app, they're going to have the same broadcast setup. Clint Boyer will be in the studio, Jeff Gordon, Mike Joy calling the race. And I haven't seen the list of entries. I'm assuming it's probably going to be pretty much the same that ran last week.
I think every one of those guys, well, except maybe Jimmy Johnson, enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, he had some issues there, but was it?
Well, I guess he had trouble getting off of pit road and started the race a couple of laps down.
Yeah, he caused the big one there too, and he thought the yellow was coming out. It did. Yeah, he was having some issues, but it happens to.
He'll only get better from there.
Last night, there was another iRacing event. I think that the winner of this coronavirus pandemic is iRacing, because they hosted the inaugural World of Outlaw iRacing Invitational at Virtual Volusia Speedway. Say that 10 times fast. Logan Seavey was the winner of that. That race was last night. The rest of the top 5 finishers were Robbie Kendall, Brett Michalski, I can't talk, Austin McCall, and Christopher Bell were the rest of the top 5 there. So it sounds like, and I think there was a virtual practice race for this weekend's eNASCAR Invitational, I think it was last night as well. So
amazingly, Scott, Ron Miller Race Cars has gotten 4 calls this week to build the rigs for the guys to do their iRacing. We just told them, draw up what you want and we'll build it.
Really?
Yeah.
This is cool. Ron Miller Race Cars getting into the iRacing, eNASCAR, iRacing. Put a letter in front of it, and it's all different.
Yeah.
That's cool. Are you just building the actual frame for it, or are you putting?
Yeah, we're just building the frame, mounting a seat, and they'll give us the dimensions for their steering wheel apparatus, and we'll build it around that.
Now, you mentioned Jimmy. His was originally set. I don't know if you've seen it, but they had his set back, I guess, for practicing for IndyCar racing. Are you building them like that, or are you more upright, standard stock car setup, or either way?
Scott, this is Ron Miller Race Cars. We'll build whatever they want.
That's what I figured. I was just curious.
You knew that.
Yeah. All right, a couple other news items to touch on here before we start answering questions. Again, if you want to ask us a question, get in the conversation. Supposedly, we could even bring somebody in if they have a camera or something. I don't know if we want to try that. That could get a little risky. But for now, just leave your question in the comments. We're going to get to them. There was some talk before everything shut down, and I'm not sure how much of this I can say. But I don't know if you heard about this. But there's work going on about a possible Dirty 30 later this year.
Really?
So you must have missed that.
I might have missed that.
Yeah, that was talked about. I believe you were part of that group chat, but you must have missed out on that. And it could be at a different track than we had talked about last year. So,
from what I heard previously, it might be a little bit farther east than where we were going to race. But
okay. Yeah, you're in on it. You know what's going on. So yeah,
I didn't catch this week's group, but
this was a couple weeks ago, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's in the early planning stages. Nothing firmed up, nothing definite yet. But there's talk going around. I know they're looking for sponsors still to trying to secure that. If you're interested in sponsoring that, like I said, you can also sponsor this show, help us out. maybe I can get a better webcam. This webcam I'm using, I borrowed from, well, where'd Ron go? We lost Ron. I borrowed this webcam from my son, who I think I got this for him about 15 years ago. So that would also help. Hopefully Ron comes back, because we just lost his camera here. I can't help him on his end. He's at his place. So hopefully he gets it figured out and he pops back on here. Moving on until Ron comes back, which hopefully he can figure that out without any help from me. IndyCar and iRacing are joining forces to stage 6 virtual events beginning March 28th. Was it Saturday? Yeah. Each race will be streamed on IndyCar.com. Each virtual race event, which will last approximately 90 minutes to 2 hours, will begin at 4 p.m. Eastern each Saturday through May 2nd. To enhance the fan experience, IndyCar will conduct a 15-minute pre-race virtual autograph session. I have no idea what that looks like, but it doesn't sound exciting to me. How do you do virtual autographs? I don't know. Come back, Ron. Click on that little link again. Flat Rock, they have installed their new catch fence. They completed that on March 20th, and due to the stay at home, wait, here he's back. Let's get him back in. Hold on, I got to bring you back in. It's counting down. It doesn't pop you right. There you go.
All right. What do you do?
I didn't do anything. You just disappeared.
Huh. I was just sitting here in my chair talking to you, and
Well,
I don't know.
We're glad you're back.
Maybe this thing times out. I'll have to keep an eye on that.
I was just mentioning Flat Rock installed their new catch fence about a week ago. And
I saw that. As a matter of fact, I commented to Gary Lindahl that there was a lot of dirt, but they had it on the wrong side of the fence. He said he's been hearing some of that.
Has he? Surprising.
Yeah.
Speaking of not dirt, due to the work at home order, work is stopped on the rewiring of the PA system for the pits they were going to do. Work also still has to be done and is on hold. That includes asphalt repair in front of the wall. I know it disappoints you. They're not putting dirt there. It's going to be asphalt still.
Yeah, I saw on some of their pictures that there's about a 12-inch strip of dirt right up at the top.
Yeah, that cushion might be a little too small for you to run on, I'm thinking.
Rusty Schlenk could do that. He's not adverse to rubbing the walls.
They're also got to do some crack filling, but that work will resume when the world hopefully comes back to normal. Waynesfield Raceway Park has announced that the 4th annual Bob Hampshire Classic, which was scheduled for this Saturday, was going to be their opener. Of course, has been postponed. That's the only one we'll talk about because that was going to be their first race. Waynesfield's promoter, Shane Helms, is working on a replacement date for later this season. Eldora Speedway has donated 3,000 masks to local first responders and medical facilities around Darke County. And one other note, and I just learned this afternoon, and I thought this was a little early for this, but the Indy 500 has been rescheduled. Have they ever run the Indy 500 unless it was rain delayed, like the next on non-Memorial Day weekend?
I have never seen it delayed, and it's July. Was that what I saw?
August,
no,
August 23rd.
August. I think the road course is in July, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe that's going to be part of the Xfinity race doubleheader.
Right.
Which was that? July 4th weekend is the big NASCAR weekend there.
A couple of minutes ago, we were talking about walls. If any of our listeners have any idea how the construction is going up at Butler, we'd like to hear about that.
Yes.
Their wall tumbled in somewhere midwinter, and we'd kind of like to know how the progress is going there.
That's all the news I got for tonight. How about we move on to our questions? Before we get to the ones from our broadcast here, there was a couple from earlier this week. The first one came from our very own Hammer Down Racing Report official correspondent, Matt Swander. Also, breaking news there, too, about Matt before we get to his question. He was the flagman at Oakshade Raceway this past year. He was going to step down and had some family stuff he needed to pay attention to, and wasn't going to be able to.
I don't think it would be too harsh if we mentioned he was having his son had some health issues, and he decided it would be best to deal with those. But I guess those health issues have improved. And go ahead, Scott.
And he has offered his services to come back this year. I haven't heard anything official as to what's going on, but that was it. That's all I got. His question.
Great flagman. I certainly hope he's back.
Definitely. Great correspondent for us, too. Even though I did notice in my little video I did last week, I said that he's always sending me a message every minute or so. He sent much less this week. Of course, there is also a lot less going on, so that could be it too. But his question is this: why does one host always race in the A main while the other is always relegated to the B main? So obviously he's talking about me racing in the A main. So you want to answer why you're in the B main?
We seem to have a bad connection here, Scott. Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
So that's a no. Wait, here, let's do this. Look at this. Whoa. Have some fun here. We can drop you down there, make you smaller. Switch us around. All right. Anyways, now back to the question. Yeah. So next question.
That's all the faster we can make Scott's car, folks. I'm sorry.
Hey, now. I made the A main. Well, I didn't race that much this past year, but probably 50% of the time I made the A.
Yeah.
It may have been because there's less competition, but
you were looking pretty sporty, Scott.
Well, until I broke the car a few times. We'll be good this year, assuming we have a year. Tom Riggs asks, what's the meaning of life? I know the answer to this, but I will let you field this question first to see what your answer is.
The meaning of life is racing. That's the only purpose of life.
That is a good answer. The other acceptable answer is 42.
Okay. You're going to have to excuse me for just a second. The dog is chewing on something that she shouldn't be.
All right, you take care of that, and we'll go to.
And if we were back in the main studio, that wouldn't be an issue.
Probably not, but hopefully you can still hear me because this next question's for you.
I'm here. I can hear you just fine.
All right. Zach Stotts, he wants us to discuss the upcoming SFI 39.2 containment seat rule for UMP late models and modifieds. How do you feel about? How do people feel about their containment seats being junk and being told they have to go buy a $1,500 seat to be in compliance? I don't know anything about this. I'm giving this one to you.
Scott, I believe that a well-constructed containment seat is totally adequate, and buying a $1,500 or $2,000 SFI seat, I don't believe it's going to keep you any safer.
So is this a new rule for this year? I know they were trying to get rules last year, and then they kind of backed off. Is this something they're pursuing again?
It's something they're pursuing. I'm not sure that it's something that they're going to be enforcing.
Gotcha.
If that makes any sense.
It actually.
There's a whole lot of rules in that rule book that seem to be ignored.
Yes. Again, if you got a question for us, want to join the conversation, go ahead and drop them in our Facebook live comments here. Steve Miller, are you familiar with this guy? Crazy dude.
I've heard of him. I think I saw him race a couple of times.
He says, is the droop rule good for racing?
Nope. No, because we just touched on that a minute ago, Scott. It's a rule that for weekly racing, I don't see it being enforced at all.
But I'm assuming that's a cheaper thing to implement. Just putting a chain somewhere so that the
Oh, it's very easy to do. but I don't see the tracks having the manpower or the desire to enforce that. You've got to measure the car at ride height, then jack it up, and the deck can't be above a certain dimension before the tire begins to come off the ground. So to measure that, you're going to have to be on a very level, smooth surface with all four tires. I'm not sure I see it happening. It's a great rule, though.
So you like the rule?
As a matter of fact, I think they were a little too generous with the rule to begin with. I think that it should have been about 3 inches less on the amount of hike up that's allowed on the left rear. In the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen a whole lot more dirt late models going for tumbles, and that's one thing. The droop rule is something that could actually help that problem. So, yeah, I like it. I just don't think it'll be enforced. Of course, my car will be 100% legal.
Next question from Billy Kyle here. What's your favorite asphalt short track? And I think I know the answer to this, and yours is, well, I don't know. What is your favorite?
My favorite what now?
Asphalt.
My alarm system was going off.
Favorite asphalt short track?
Asphalt short track. Boy. It's been a lot of years since I raced there. I really enjoyed racing at Flat Rock back early in my career when we were running pavement. So I very much enjoyed Flat Rock, but nothing can compare with the success that we've had at Sandusky with the Hangover.
I'd have to say Sandusky.
Flip a coin. Flip a coin.
Flip a coin.
but the other side of it is racing, Scott. I mean, whatever race, my favorite track is wherever I happen to be that night.
There you go. I like that answer. Ron, what have you heard this month from your favorite track owners, the Rose? That's from Thomas Cole.
Boy, Tom. Nothing. Crickets.
That's shocking.
I haven't pursued that at all. But they also know that if they want to make an announcement, all they have to do is get a hold of me and we'll make it happen. So nothing.
Hopefully the track's still in racing. How many years? It's been a few years now that track's been sitting idle. Talking about Millstream in case those of you aren't familiar. Scott, you feeling better? Yes. I've been feeling well for a while. Surgery went well. Everything's good. I have like 5 holes on my stomach. Other than that, I can sleep.
But they're little tiny ones, Scott.
Yeah, well,
they're little tiny holes.
They're still holes.
Yeah, but don't show us, man. No, that'd be way too much information.
I'm not going to show you.
I thought you were going to stand up and pull up your shirt.
I don't want to blow you away with my amazing abs. I will show you my shirt, though.
Okay.
That was a Christmas gift from my brother and sister-in-law.
That was very nice of them.
Surgery went well. I've been good for a while. Everything's pretty much normal. I lost a ton of weight trying to gain it back, but other than that, I'm good to go. So yay.
Sleeping well at night?
Well, I was. Now I just I got. The only reason I wouldn't sleep well at night is because I got too much going on in my head, like going over all these things I have to do the next day. Normal reasons people don't sleep. So we kind of talked about this already. Arnold Kirsch wants to know opinions on NASCAR iRacing simulation race that was on TV. So we kind of talked. What was that?
I don't think it'll ever replace the real thing. I think real race fans enjoy the smell, the sounds. And iRacing will never duplicate that, but
it's filling in.
For right now, it's perfect, and it was entertaining. And I hope they keep doing it until we get back to the real stuff.
And I think they will. And it's definitely, I didn't really know what to expect. I've seen an iRacing broadcast before. It was kind of, because it didn't have anybody I knew. It was just the kids and the eNASCAR league that do it. And that one night I talked about it on the show where the kid won like an obscene amount of money. I forget what it was, like $40,000 or something ridiculous like that.
Yes. Yep. 40 grand.
Yeah. But it wasn't anybody that I knew, and they didn't really have the same broadcast standards that they had for this NASCAR thing this past weekend. They did have like a webcam on the kid so they could talk to him. But I think having the drivers that we're familiar with racing, and a lot of them, like maybe even though they have nice fancy rigs for this thing, may not be experts on this video game kind of deal. Because there's a lot of, and I used to do a lot of sim racing back in my day, but you definitely lose the seat of your pants feel, which you drive a lot with your butt. Right?
Yeah. That, and they mentioned that a few times during their broadcast last week, that there's a real factor in feeling what's going on, feeling the G-forces. Yeah. And they even mentioned that you could feel the air when you were up next to a car, and the guys that are the real racers in real cars could tell when a car was too close to them because the air would change. And you don't get that with the sim racing.
Okay, Chris Mize has a question. I'm guessing this is for you. He asked, who's them trophies belong to? I'm assuming those behind you over here, right over there.
When we discussed this show last week, I figured I needed some candy, and I went out and rented them.
All right. Let's see what else we got here.
Thank you, Chris.
Arnold asked, what's the Dirty 30? Looks like John Young answered him here. We talked about this last year, where it was an event. We were going to have dirt late models using UMP rules, racing on the asphalt at Sandusky Speedway before that got canceled. We were also going to have bombers and Oakshade bombers and the dirt
Fremont trucks.
Yeah, in a middle class.
And there was going to be I think there was going to be a front wheel drive class.
Yeah. So that was what was pitched last year, and actually was coming together, but some sponsors backed out and that kind of fell apart. But that idea is being brought back up, and I don't know exactly what it looks like this year. I just know that it's being worked on, and that's about all I can say at this point. And
that is so cool.
Fingers crossed that they
with a little bit of lead time. I am pretty certain that we could get that to be a UMP sanctioned race too.
I think it may be it might be after the UMP championship again. Well, although this year it's kind of fluid with things being pushed back, the UMP championship race may be
absolutely
first. Chris Mize, he has a question here. He wants another one. When will we race? What's your best guess, Mr. Coronavirus expert?
Scott, my best guess is that most of the sanctions that have been placed on us are going to be relaxed, and take it to the bank. We're going to be open. We're going to be racing the first weekend in June.
Okay, so that's still...
seems like a long time away, but we're at the first weekend in April now, and last year we lost most of the month of May to rain anyway. So I don't think this year is going to be much different than last year.
I think we're in the last weekend of March. We're not quite to the first weekend of April yet. Could be wrong.
Close enough. I've been looking at the trees and they've all got buds on them. So
okay. Chad Kutzel here. He wants to know, is Oakshade going to race this year?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Could answer that one.
I was letting you have that one. That was an easy one. Arnold Kirsch wants to know, how did Ron get started in racing? And your whole biography. Let's just do how did you get started in racing? We've heard the story, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, I got started in racing because my dad he sponsored a couple of cars, owned a couple. I'm sorry, he owned a couple and sponsored the car driven by Jim McCune Sr. And he had a little Jeep push truck at Toledo Raceway Park, and he would drop me off at the front gate. Oh, thank you, Scott. He dropped me off at the front gate, and I would play under the grandstands with the little plastic cars and watch some of the races. After the races were over, he'd drive the Jeep around, pick me up, and we'd head back home. So I was a race fan from the time I was 6 years old.
Oh, we're done?
Where'd you go, Scott?
I was taking a break. I'm over here now.
Oh,
Still, okay.
We switched places.
Yeah, I'm here. Ow. It's in my arm.
How about you, Scott?
What? He didn't ask you.
How'd you get started in racing?
He doesn't care about me. He wanted to know how you got started in racing.
Well, that's about it.
There you go. I got
when I turned 16, I started building my first car, and at that time you couldn't race until you were 18. Right after my 18th birthday, I started racing. Toledo Speedway, figure eight. And back then, that's where everybody started racing. Everybody in the world that raced around here ran figure eight and progressed on up from there.
I was seeing if I could switch.
Back to you, Scott.
I'm trying to figure things out here. Well, let's do this.
Oh.
Nope. Nope. I guess we're going to stay this way. We got one more question here. And before we get to that, we don't really have any set plans with the future of the show. I guess we'll see how this kind of worked out. This was kind of an experiment here, but it's kind of cool to kind of do something that's sort of normal, even though we're not in our regular studio, or you're in Michigan and I'm down here in Ohio, even though we're separated by like 3 miles. So
as long as we're talking about locations, I know we have listeners tonight in Australia. I know we have listeners in Florida, obviously over in Indiana, Ohio, Michigan. So welcome to all you folks, and make sure you leave a message to Scott so that he's encouraged enough that we keep doing this.
Yeah, and also, like I said, this deal is going to actually cost us some money here. So I haven't been asking for sponsorship before just because we've been doing this. It didn't really cost us anything. We had access to the iHeartRadio studios, which was cool. But to do this way, and we'll be able, like I said, to have guests on here. We can have 3 people, 4 people, however many people using this, but there is a hard cost to us to be able to do this. So we're asking for any kind of help. If you could visit that website that's scrolling at the bottom down here. It's going to be coming right after Ron Miller Race Cars. But that website's paypal.me/Hammerdown Racing. If you don't want to do anything through PayPal, get a hold of me or Ron. Like I said, anything you do.
Yeah, Ron Miller Race Cars is always willing to take money.
and build an iRacing rig as well. But yeah, maybe I can upgrade my my webcam here, which is a little crappy. Ron's got a nicer laptop there. I have a laptop I could use, but it's like 15 years old, and I don't think it could handle this. But so we're going to try that. And Dean Henry asked here, are we still doing the how many? And I was thinking about that. It would be cool to continue doing it. He's still open for business, Big D's Pizza over there in Clyde.
I think this is a great time to be in the pizza business.
Yeah. I don't know how I couldn't come up with how many we could do. I guess we could do something with the iRacing stuff, right? What do you think?
Sure.
What do you want to do one for? We can do one for this weekend. Any suggestions?
Is there going to be some iRacing on this weekend?
Thanks for watching the show. Yes, Sunday at 1:00 on Fox. Or that might have been when your camera bleeped out. Fox Sports Fox One, Fox app. It's going to be 1 o'clock, the virtual Texas Speedway. And I'm guessing it, like I said, that's probably the same drivers that competed this past weekend. I don't know. How many? I don't want to watch how many cautions because there's way too many cautions.
I think there was only a dozen or so, wasn't there?
Yeah, they only went 100 laps?
100 laps.
Yeah, that's a lot of caution. That's like, if you count the
One
lap.
every 10 laps, yeah. Sounds like some of the Bomber B mains we've seen.
How about this? Because I don't really know the details of like how many laps and everything they're going. How about we just say pick the winning car number and whoever's closest?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to play along for a free pizza from Big D's Pizza out in Clyde, go ahead and put your guess in the comments. So Dean, yes, we're going to play how many this week. We just came up with it on the fly. Put your guess in there as to the winning car number. And even if you're not right, if you're closest, say the winning car number is 2. Like, I don't even know the car numbers that are going to be in this weekend. And you guess 3 and nobody else.
We need to disqualify John Young. He seems to win every other week.
Yeah, he's the first guess, too. He's already put in 11. That would be Hamlin, who won this past weekend. Or maybe we'll have to put a bounty on him. Maybe we'll see if Harvick will put a bounty on him.
Tail start challenge.
So put your guess in the comments. They're already starting to roll in. Again, if somebody guesses the same number, whoever put it in first will get credit for that. We'll announce the winner last week. Go ahead with your guess, Ron.
Oh, my guess?
Yeah.
Wow. 8.
That was Junior, right? He finished second. What was Timmy Hill's number?
Was it 66?
Oh, there was a 92, wasn't there? I'm going to go with a big number, 92.
There you go.
92, Scott. So there you go. Again, play along online. Dean, why does Dean play? You can't play. You get your own. You could have as many free pizzas as you want. But if you want to play along online, you can do so. Just if you're listening to us on iHeartRadio, not watching the live broadcast, you can still play along. Just find the video, which will be on our Facebook page, facebook.com/HammerdownRacingReport, and find the comments in there. You can put a comment in whenever, as long as you do it before the race, before 1 o'clock on Sunday, you can be entered. Breaking news: Butler's old fallen wall, has been cut up and removed, and work continued yesterday. That's from official correspondent Matt Swander.
Oh, very good.
So I don't have the.
I'm looking forward to the Summer Nationals race up there. I enjoy racing at Butler, so yep, looking forward to that one very much.
I couldn't play the breaking news sounder because I don't have. I think. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Make sure it's really the breaking news and not just Scott breaking.
Oh, maybe I didn't download that yet. Apparently, I don't have that yet. We'll work on that for next week.
Okay.
Assuming this worked out. I don't know. This could sound like total crap. But, nobody's really complained. I guess people can actually hear us because they're putting in guesses. But yeah.
Oh yeah, hello Erie, Pennsylvania too. Make sure you put in your guess for the free pizza there, Barb Ganser.
What else are you going to do on a Thursday? There's no sports. I mean, I guess you could go for a walk if it's nice, but it's raining here. So
it's raining, yeah.
So hopefully it'll be rainy next Thursday too. I guess that's about all I got for this week's edition of the Hammer Down Racing Report special coronavirus studio edition. I guess there's a lot of this going on where people are doing virtual meetings.
Scott, this whole thing went a lot better than I thought it was going to. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, me too, other than you dropping out there just for a minute, but we got you back. So, yeah.
Don't know what that was about. I didn't touch the keyboard.
I don't know.
It just went away.
It could be that everybody's home using the internet. That could be also sucking up all our bandwidth. But, yeah, this worked out better than I thought it would. We'll do another experiment next week because that'll be our last deal with this free trial before it actually starts costing us money. So again, help us out, become a sponsor. We'll talk about you. Just visit, this website right there. Just going down. It's over by Ron now. PayPal.me/HammerdownRacing, or get a hold of me and Ron. Yeah.
Get a hold of Scott right there.
Or Ron right there. Well, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Scott Hammer at iHeartMedia.com. Send me a message on Facebook. And, of course, Ron Miller's number is right there, 734-856-7223. And he'll build you an iHeart.
And you can message me on Facebook, and virtually everybody has my Facebook.
So next week we'll work on bringing a guest in, a third party. We'll see how that works out. That could be another experiment in and of itself. So,
and you are part of this, folks.
Yeah. So tune in next Thursday, 7:00, right here on our Facebook Live. Again, we're only going to be live on Facebook. The limitations due to the coronavirus, stupid coronavirus.
We're practicing social distancing. Scott and I are about 4 miles apart.
Yeah. My mom called me because last I think I told her we were going to do a live show from your shop. That was before I was told that we couldn't go into the iHeart building anymore. They were pretty much quarantining that whole thing, and I needed to grab some equipment from there to be able to make that happen. So I came up with this alternative, which seemed to work out not too bad, and I didn't infect you with the coronavirus, and you didn't infect me, so bonus.
That's it.
So, all right, we're done. We'll see you next week. Sound good?
All right. Sounds great, Scott.
Let's see if I can make this happen.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.